Okay, today we are going to talk about the law of diminishing return and also the working capital. So let's see. According to dictionary, law of diminishing returns is defined as a point at which the level of profits or benefits gained is less than the amount of money or energy invested. Now, this is the right definition, but at the same time, it might be too wordy and might not be very clear. So let us take another source. According to Adam Hayes and Margaret James, very recently in their book Law of Diminishing Marginal Returns, they have stated it is a theory in economics that predicts that after some optimal level of capacity is reached, adding an additional factor of production will actually result in smaller increases in output. Well, this is pretty much covers it all, but again, let me put it in even simpler terms. So, to summarize, after a certain point, adding more input will not result in proportionate increase in productivity. Now, let me prove it to you. Let us say there is a 30-foot wall, 30-foot length wall is to be constructed, and say the height is 10 feet. You think that this wall can be constructed in 100 man hours, right? So generally the thought is that one person can do it in 100 hours, or 100 people can do it in 1 hour. Both of these assumptions are impracticable. How can a single person make the whole wall? Naturally, it would take a lot of time. It is not the most economical way of doing it. Similarly, it is impossible to have 100 people constructing the same wall. They won't have space to stand even. What about what to talk about working on the wall? Even if they stand side by side and one on the shoulder of the other, even then 100 people cannot be accommodated in 30 feet of wall. So you see, adding resources will not really be the solution in this case. But there would be a most appropriate number of resources which could be suitable in construction of this wall. Right? Say, let us assume a worker needs at least 5 feet of working space. So in 30 feet, how many workers can we have working comfortably on this wall? 6. 6 into 5, 30. 30 feet can be comfortably done by 6 people. If we have got less than 6 people, then our productivity is lesser. But naturally, as we keep adding from 1 to 6, our productivity increases sharply. But after 6, if we keep adding more resources, for example, I add one more resource, that is going to eat up some space, working space from other 6 people, making them slightly uncomfortable, affecting their productivity. So productivity is not going to increase that much, which it was increasing earlier from 1 to 6. So 5 to 6 is different than 6 to 7. Similarly, if I keep adding people, my productivity keeps reducing in proportion. Ultimately, I come to a complete standstill. 100 is not possible. Even maybe on 10 or 15, I would be at a standstill because no further work can be done. There are so many people sitting around here, so many resources. So I think this justifies the definition of diminishing returns. And let's talk a bit about saturation point in regard with law of diminishing returns. This is almost the same philosophy. When you take a glass of water and want to make it sweeter, you add sugar. 1 teaspoon dissolved, sugar gone, water is sweeter. Another teaspoon, again dissolved. But if you keep doing that, you keep adding teaspoons of sugar, there would be a point where sugar is not going to be dissolved any further. That is where more addition of sugar would just add up to the bottom and it will keep accumulating there. So initially it was useful, it was making the water sweeter, but when the saturation point was met, then it is no more functioning. It is, maybe the sugar is being made sweeter slightly better, but actually that is not a remarkable benefit that we are getting out of it. So this is the result we get by adding resources unlimitedly, and those added resources may go beyond the proficiency level. The most proficiency level would be, say, 2 teaspoons is more than enough, maybe 3. But after that, you may add 10 more sugar spoons, and there would be no real benefit. You can see the same thing in these response curves taken from 3 different research. I would like to go for the red curve, which is more appropriate from my point of view, although all other are alike as well. But in the red one, it shows that initially when we were adding resources, they were giving us exponential benefit. Then that started converging. The exponentiation started melting down and we started reaching the saturation point. Now, what is the proficiency level? Best proficiency you are getting at somewhere where the curve starts. And after that, you keep adding the resources, it is not going to be beneficial for the project because the benefit is so negligible as compared to the whole that it is not appropriate at all. Another topic very closely related to it and normally discussed in the same breath is what is working capital. So let us see what is working capital. Generally speaking, an organization's current assets minus its current liabilities. This is the working capital. Current assets minus current liabilities. This is what the explanation is. But what does the dictionary say about it? It says the capital of a business which is used in its day-to-day trading operations, calculated as the current assets minus current liabilities. The formula remains the same, but now some scenario has been added to the situation. The capital of a business which is used in its day-to-day trading operation. So this is the money required to be running the business. So it is what it is, working capital. Working capital can be, the formula could be current assets minus current liabilities. So I hope I have explained these two terms, related terms, very, very comfortably, and you would be able to understand it. Thank you.